China Acheru joins us this morning. China, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining.
Good morning, Favor. Good to be on your show.
All right, China, thank you very much for joining. We understand, I mean, you just settled in at the point, at the place you've got into, and you're able to join. But let's look at this issue. Kun Khalifat, not the first time in Nigeria we've had privately owned clubs threatening to pull out of the league as a result of, financial issues. And their own issue also led to points deduction and suspended fines. And once again, it has highlighted the challenges faced by privately owned clubs. From your experience covering the league, even as a media officer in the past, how have financial logistical hurdles historically impacted private clubs and competitiveness in our league?
It's always difficult. But I think for a long time, Nigeria, we have indulged these private clubs, and we have this entitlement thing where people create clubs, struggle to qualify for the top division, and not believe that because they're in the top division, the state government of the state they are will now come to help them. We saw how the same Kun Khalifat tried crowdfunding at the start of the season. And the question is, what are you doing in a league you can't afford? What are you doing in a league you can't afford? Some years back in England, when Paul Joel was coach of Wigan FC, if you remember, by the first 7 games, Wigan was top of the table. And I remember the owner of the club saying, we don't want to qualify for Europe because we can't afford it. So we should count the cost. And most private club owners don't count the cost. If you're going to play in the league, the first thing you have to understand is that the sponsorship from the league body is not enough to cover all your expenses. So you must find your own sponsorship. You must count the cost. 38 matches, home and away. How do I fund it? How do I pay my players? How do I take care of logistic costs? Did they do all of this? So really, it's a tough road. I actually worked with a privately run club, Goran FC, and I know, as we say in local parlance, the owner of the club is so shaggy to run that club, especially the 2 years he was in NPFL. So it's never easy. We sympathize with them, but really, you must count the cost before you get to any venture. Did they count the cost? No, they didn't. And that's why they're suffering for it right now. Favor.
All right, let me come to Wale Scott. Wale Scott, China did, make some points. I remember I was going to talk about Goran FC, and thank God you mentioned that. But Wale Scott, I mean, it's not something that the private clubs will run away from. Spending. They know that each game they have to spend. And with what I heard, what the government clubs get from the government is way more than what the private clubs get, means that they have to work within a tight budget. What are the realistic ways the private clubs can, manage the situation instead of having issues with they can't attend a game because of financial issues? They want a game to be posted back to back so that they can just make the northern trips and come back to wherever they are.
I must confess, I had a different perspective of all of this. But China has been involved in this way before me, way before me. So if I hear him talk, I hear he's an expert talking from it. What I thought initially was that the government did not want these private institutions to get involved because they wanted the money to themselves. And I was using 3SC as a case study when a private company approached 3SC and said, listen, let's take over and share the spoils. And the 3SC guys were like, no way. You guys cannot take over. It's government owned. Leave it for us, And I was like, oh, why don't these guys want this company to come and take over? Because they are chopping money somewhere. But now China has brought a different opinion to me now. And I'm taking this home with me. He said that when these clubs eventually get to the Premiership, they expect the state government to actually take care of them on the side too, which is not their problem really. Why invest in you? You're a private entity. Take care of yourselves.
Okay.
So like China has rightly said, he's an expert in this.
All right.
So the truth is, if you want to run a private entity in Nigerian Premier League, think of the cost too.
Now, let me also look at the league angle. Now, the board, over time, their monies they say that they give to these club sides, maybe in trenches, the first part of the league and the second part of the league. Most of the times when it comes to the club side, maybe a paltry, maybe 10 million naira. Some do not even get as much as, even that. And sometimes when the winner wins the league, it's a winner take all, not as if the monies are shared from maybe a particular team, even to the 20th team, just like what is done in other parts of the league. Do you think that the board can also do something to further help these privately owned teams and other club sides in the NPFL?
Yes, in favor. I might be sounding kind of cold and impersonal, and I apologize for that. Now, there is nowhere in the world or nowhere in the real world where the sponsorship money received from the league is ever enough. Now, the winner of the Nigerian league takes home about 150 million for winning the league. That is not enough compared to what they might have spent on players, salaries, wages, allowances, and expense for 38 games. It's not enough. So the question is, if you win the league and you get 150 million, what have you done for yourself? Let me take you to Europe, where we are all more used to. Now, I don't remember how much English league winner earns, the exact figure, but when you consider Liverpool spent close to 500 million on just players alone. Now, do they get up to 500 million from the league? No, they don't. That means by the time they calculate money they get from playing in the league, probably about 100 million pounds, I'm not too sure the figure, it means that they have to seek their own sponsorship. That's why they have a bank in front of their jerseys. So that they have another company in front of their training kits. So that they have stadium naming rights. So they look for their own other source of funding to add to what to get to the league in terms of title sponsorship and broadcast rights money. But you see here in Nigeria, clubs qualify for the NPFL and they want the league to give them everything. It doesn't work that way. The league can never give you everything. They give you just a little. In those of Chelsea spending so much on that Ibrahimovic, did they get all of that from winning the FA Cup or the Champions League? No. It can never be enough. So you get your own source of funding. So yes, I'm not speaking for the league. The league has not done, in fact, the league has failed us. We must accept it. Yes, the current board is trying to get us back on our feet, but it's not enough. It's not enough to 10% for yourself. Little or nothing. And that's where the problem is. These clubs get into the NPFL hoping that there is some kind of magic money coming to them from the league. It's not there. They should ask other clubs. It's not there. What they get cannot be enough for just logistics alone. Okay. So look for your own funding. Where are the banks to endorse your jerseys? Where are the water bottling companies to endorse your jerseys? Where are the NGOs to endorse your jerseys? They should get to work and not be lazy. And that's why I'm very cold about this. You must be ready for the road, for the work ahead. Then do the work and stop depending on the league to foot all your bills. They can foot a little of it, but not all of it.
All right, China Acheru, we just need to move forward quickly. Benel Insurance will play Eyimba today right there in Benin City. But China, the big one, well, maybe a lot of Nigerians are now pessimistic. Rivers United may not be mathematically out of the CAF Champions League, but looking like an uphill task. You know, they get to play this weekend. Today, we hear there's a press conference later this afternoon. Rivers United will be in action. What should we be looking forward to? Is it a game where they just want to, try to win their first game in the competition, China?
Did you say they may not be out of it mathematically?
Mathematically.
Really?
I mean,
they have just 1 point. They have just 1 point and 2 more games.
Let's see if Bekan and the other team gets to lose their 2 games, which is almost impossible. But mathematically, I mean, we can't.
Okay. I think
in favor. You are getting the word wrong. Miraculously, not mathematically. Miraculously. That's what I'm saying. Miraculously,
Uyo for the game. Uyo for the game. I'm not saying Uyo because I'm here to see a Rivers United win. I'm here first because I'm a travel blogger, and 2 because I'm a football writer, and 3 because I'm going to watch the game regardless. Right? So that's why I'm here. Now, can Rivers United win? I don't think so. I hope they win, but I don't think so.
Okay.
I wrote an article which I'll publish later today, which I titled, "Don't Cry for Rivers United." We can't cry for them. Listen, they've done their best, and you can't give more than you have. They've done their best. If I should go into the room with Tyson Fury, even if you give me $1 billion, I'll be knocked out in 10 seconds. 10 seconds. But I'll do my best regardless.
Okay.
So they've done their best, right? The first Nigerian club to get here in about 8 or 9 years, at no point did any player or coach of the team because they knew that was their level.
All right, China.
So for me, we're enjoying the game.
Okay, enjoy it. China Acheru, I'm sorry, time is not our friend. I must let you go now. Thank you very much for joining. Wale Scott, we wish the conversation could go on, but I mean, we just have to go. Wale Scott, hoping to have you again, even live at the studio. Thank you very much for joining.